Hello, everybody. Well, we'll let people start sitting down, and it's really great to have everybody here today. You can see my name on the screen, Ashley Tarver. I'm with Microsoft, and I help in the data and AI space. And I help companies basically learn how to adopt our technologies. So they selected me to help moderate the panel with the hopes that we could kind of tease out some interesting facts and ideas, because we're focusing, today's panel is on AI adoption, AI governance, and of course, what did I say, and roadmaps. So what I like to do is let's talk about the application of AI. There's a lot of hype in the marketplace about what AI is or should be. So it's really fun to get down to the level of granularity as to what AI is really doing. So today's diverse panel will get a chance to touch on a number of topics in the AI space. So let them introduce each other. Tanya, would you kick off?
I'd love to. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Tanya Long with Quantum Pro Advisory. I consult with both ends of the spectrum on AI strategy. I consult with boards and with founders, so I have a lot of fun in that regard. We'll talk more about it, I'm sure, as we talk about roadmaps. Nice to see you.
Sid?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sid Saxena, co-founder and CEO of Docket AI. Docket is building the world's first AI accountant. Every business on the planet needs their books done so they can file their taxes. And if you heard the previous panel, as companies, enterprises go out for raising funds and capital, these financials are extremely important. Their accuracy levels are paramount. You cannot make mistakes. So we're going to talk about hopefully some of those things.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Benjamin Tu, co-founder and CEO of Cascade. What I'm trying to build is a digital imagery platform that helps to accelerate the creative processes for creatives, companies, and brands who are looking to generate or create customized or branded imagery. And what we're really our approach is trying to simplify the creation process by making it as easy as a search.
Good afternoon, change makers. I'm Ivy Wayne from Morphos, a passionate advocate for partnering with AI to elevate humanity. Previously, I led M&A and transformation consulting and catalyzed $100 million in annual revenue at a Fortune 500 company. I now focus on creating generative AI solutions to empower people and foster a fulfilling future.
Perfect. Thank you, board, and most importantly, thank you for attending today. We appreciate you guys being here. We're going to run the board. I'm going to have a few questions. Then we're going to open it up to questions from you. Our panel would really like to have a dialogue with the audience. So we'll get it stimulated with a couple of questions, and then so think about some really hard questions. Your goal is to stump us on a topic that you've been wondering about. How's that? Tanya, let's start with you. Tanya has background with working with executives, executive boards, top C-level executives. And so as AI becomes more pervasive in the industry, a lot of questions about the ability to do governance around AI. And so large companies, of course, are thinking about it already, but what happens in the mid-level companies, privately held companies, companies that are just more focused on revenue generation? Are they really looking at governance in the AI space?
No. I don't think the calls that I typically get from the board level at the mid-market, the first thing that they've been hearing, particularly with generative AI, is how much money they can save. Calls that I get from boards are the first calls are about how much can I save. Especially 6 months ago, the calls were around how do I shave 40% off my labor budget. The conversations were to back those people into different conversations. It was how do we change the top line? What I like to help companies typically understand was how do we change that conversation to what can AI, generative AI in particular, do to change what your business model looks like, to bring more to the business, not to cut the business. And then with the mid-market in particular, they don't have the same muscle memory, the same bandwidth that teams typically do in larger scale enterprises like you and I have been in with our history.
Or the incentive, right? They're not incentivized to really think about it.
Not typically, but I like to say that even if you're just a bakery, if your product isn't AI oriented, you still need things that you and I have always built, like roadmaps and the cadences that need governance to build solid product. Even if your offering and product don't look like or contain AI, you still need governance for how AI will impact your company. So whether it's supply chain, whether it's marketing, whether it's how your consumers are going to be impacted by AI, you still need to have a way of looking at and governing how AI is going to affect your company. So I'd like to say, even if you're a bakery, you're going to need a plan and you're going to need tracking and governance for how that works. I'm sure companies like Microsoft, larger companies, are already doing a lot with governance. The mid-market isn't. They need to start thinking about it. And I think products, especially products like Microsoft's that scale, are you guys already doing things like that?
Yeah, we took that into account from our perspective. We took a lot of responsibility as a larger company to help the mid-market. Part of our rules, in order to adopt a use case that uses AI, you have to go through an approval process because there are certain areas, especially around personal identification and things like that really AIs aren't really appropriate for it at this moment. So we take first right of refusal on the use case that you're using AI for, to your point. And then we also keep the content filter going so that we can kind of monitor what's being done with the AI so that we can help a company warn them that there's suspicious activity taking place. So our goal is to try to make it as safe as possible. Can't expect the industry to catch up where they need to be at the very beginning of a new technology trend. So,
Thank you.
Sid, I think it's fascinating when you think about the applications for AI. And one of the most obvious areas is any industry involving numbers. And accounting is known for that. So, but I do hear a lot, because I do a lot of work with the Association of Corporate Growth in mid-market, and a lot of panels I've listened to, people worry about the accuracy or the reliability and also the threat landscape of the accounting world. So how do you see AI fitting in to a business who's trying to run it for accounting purposes?
Absolutely, fantastic question. When you are crunching numbers, it is extremely important that you are picking the right kind of AI algorithms. Now, AI is not just some monolithic programming algorithm. There are a whole bunch of different ways numbers get computed. The latest AI algorithm that has become popular is ChatGPT powered large language models, which essentially are able to generate new content. You don't want to generate balance sheet. That is the last thing you want to do. What you do want to do is use a whole bunch of precision AI algorithms that can extract information with tremendous accuracy, 99.9% or more. That has been the primary application of machine learning for the last 1 decade. Absorb a lot of data, crunch the data, and only use data that for which the computer system is 99% or more comfortable in absorbing the data about its accuracy. So another area is there are certain functions in accounting like audit and tax, which are highly regulated. Over there, you don't want to even apply AI and use the outcome as is. You need an expert, you need a human who still has secondary oversight onto what came about. In the other function in accounting, for example, bookkeeping or CFO-based advisory, you want to make sure that there are reconciliations on distinct data set that are telling you the same information. So by using a bunch of these methods, you can ensure that only highly accurate data makes its way into the balance sheet. And then when the time comes to really advise the management on are the metrics accurate as per the industry, are the financial ratios equivalent to what your lenders, what your investors expect, now you can build a ChatGPT kind of an advisory bot, a co-pilot agent, which can tell you and continuously guide you every week that, hey, you can do certain things that can improve your financial metrics. So you don't want to build the balance sheet, but really when time comes for advisory, you do want to lean because AI has a lot of data crunched. No human, no single CFO can crunch all this data and advise accurately. Some of those applications definitely will see the business.
That's really, I love this because you hear a lot of topics about AI is going to take jobs. And there's a concern about that. I heard another panel, somebody said, AI is not going to take jobs. People who know AI are going to take jobs away from people who don't know AI. And I think this is an example of how we'll leverage AI to augment the success of the human capital that's in the company.
It's interesting in the accounting world, the shortage of people is such an enormous problem that this profession is actually wanting automation and AI tools to come in larger amounts. Experienced accountants are aging out and kids are not joining the profession. So every year there is a shortage of thousands of CPAs which are needed by organizations. So an AI can't come fast enough. What Docket is building, the AI accountant, the AI bookkeeper, it is needed by even accounting firms because their staff is being sucked into high value workflows and nobody wants to do bookkeeping anymore.
This is a good transition, Afi, in your world, taking it from an accounting perspective, but also in valuations. Because raise your hand out there on how many companies that you've seen. How many people here believe that every company is advertising AI as a capability? Like everybody's claiming they have it. It reminds me back when the internet became public in the 90s, where everybody said they were web enabled. But once you went under the covers, you discovered that not really a web company. They were just posting a website. So we're trying to do this in the valuation space, right? How do you know a company really should be evaluated based on its AI trends or capabilities? So we're leveraging AI to possibly do that. There's risks and rewards, and I would love to hear your view on how you see AI into the valuations.
That's a great question. Thank you. I think some of you might have heard cautions from the press about valuation. Sometimes I love that press makes AI sound like the new Terminator reality show. But jokes aside, their cautions are valid, and business valuation is inherently complex. Includes qualitative factors that require human input. Additionally, to Sid's point, regulatory requirements may come into play if it's for financial reporting. Even though AI cannot replace human judgment yet, the field is maturing, and they can supplement and enhance insights, especially in critical and pressing environments where we need information quickly. I'd like to caveat that when companies use AI for M&A, it's important to consider privacy because of the sensitive data involved. The EU GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, considers privacy a fundamental human right, enforcing strict guidelines on handling personal data. Traditional applications can isolate and delete data easily, like removing a pill from an empty glass. But with generative AI, it's like dissolving a pill in a glass of water. So data used in model training becomes embedded, making them practically impossible to erase. Therefore, companies must consider protecting their data, not just to minimize legal risk, but to protect their companies, employees, and customers from irreversible consequences. But on the other hand, if companies do use AI responsibly, they can unlock a lot of potentials in M&A to enhance efficiency and outcomes. In particular, generative AI. They can glean insights from unstructured data, previously inaccessible to traditional AI, so that companies can get help in terms of refining their M&A strategies and screen acquisition targets. Also, identify new ones that otherwise might have been missed. They can get a lot of value in terms of getting generative AI to analyze legal documents with over 90% accuracy in diligence, and also assist in integration by processing large amounts of information. I think this is just the beginning of how AI is transforming the M&A landscape. And even though at this moment they cannot fully do business valuation, but I think we'll wait and see what's going to happen in a few years.
That's very insightful. Thank you. Change the question over to another area. Let me ask the audience here, how many of you have attempted or have created unique artwork using AI on the internet? Generally speaking, is it pretty satisfactory or at least fun to do? Okay. So since we're in this particular venue, which is really targeting the ability to leverage human creativity in the space of the new world, we also want to interject AI creativity. So Ben, your question is very controversial. Based on the readings I've done, is should it be human generated? Should it be AI generated? Should it be augmented? Where does the landscape fit today in adoption of creativity or the use of AI in a creative mind? And how do you see this working its way out?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. If we look at the history of AI image generation today, there's a lot of controversy in the market as to AI models being trained, how are they being trained, using copyrighted material, being scraped by the internet, everything and nothing underneath the sun. I would say in terms of technology, AI is just going to be a new tool that was brought about in the market, similar to what computer graphics was many years ago when computer vision models first started happening to help augment what a lot of creatives do today. If I also think about it too, and I ask the question is every artist or every person who's creative in this room, we all have some sort of God-given talent to create something. But we didn't create something from nothing. Well, I would say most of us didn't. Some of us who probably have that ingenuity did. What we ended up doing was we ended up looking at previous works from other people who have published something, took that in, then tried to mimic, replicate, or take some sort of derivative work from there, and then tried to then create our own version of it. Now the controversy today is well, AI models, they're scraping all the data from the net and they're taking my copyrighted data to train these models. And I should have that some sort of attribution, consent, or compensation for it. I ask my question when I ask my kids when they create a copy of Dr. Seuss, am I going to pay Dr. Seuss $1 now because they now created a derivative work of Dr. Seuss? A lot of creatives are asking the same questions. There's a lot of case laws that's going around now trying to figure out this whole landscape of it. Cascade, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring together human creativity and AI, not to replace the creative or the artist, but really to give them the inspiration to come up with something new by being able to quickly test, iterate, and then augment some of the works that they may have already been doing and trying to go down, but just wanting to do rapid prototyping, right? We're making that as simple as a search by allowing you to put in a simple search prompt, right? I always give the example of like a dog in a park. We're doing that now, and we're enhancing that prompt into a proper prompt that then generates a variety of different images for you to then be able to look at. And then from there, you're like, well, I like these certain aspects of elements of images or this image here and there. Let me see what I can do further and take that one step further along and so on and so forth. So for us, we're trying to bridge that gap and really bring together human creativity and technology together. Interestingly enough, what I've noticed is that, or read is that 65% of artists today are already using AI to help draw inspiration to help them in their creative process. So in many ways, artists are embracing it, even though there is that controversy that exists.
And I know we are out of time, and there's another fantastic panel right behind us. So we're going to get a few pictures up front, and then we're going to go to the back. If you have any questions with Tanya, Sid, Ben, Avi, we're all available to you, and we're really excited that you came in today to help with the panel. Thank you.